Welcome to Messy Business, the podcast that will help you change how you work, not who you are. This is where we talk honestly about thinking clearly, making better decisions, and building a business that actually feels good to run without hustle, hype, or pretending everything's fine. I'm Libby Langley, business coach, author, optimist, realist, and self-employed since 2011. Here's this week's episode. I'm going to debunk some myths for you today. And these particular myths are about the essentials for business success. If you've read my book, Life in Business, get it on Amazon, you will know there's quite a few of these in that book. And I believe that this probably needs updating now to add in the few new ones that seem to have appeared over time on the internet. So this is going to give you an absolute ton more headspace and stop you chasing with some nonsense or doing things that are just insane, if you ask me. But they're certainly not essential, right? None of these things are, in and of themselves, are going to make you a better business owner or your business more successful, okay? Making a conscious choice to do things that make you happy or simplify your business, focus your business, are good things, okay? But they're different to these ones. So, let's go. Right, apparently, to be a successful business owner, you need to, in no particular order, wake up at 5 a.m, take ice baths, produce constant content, attend every event, buy every course, build complicated funnels, grow a huge audience, live your life publicly on social media, and optimize absolutely everything and monetize absolutely everything. And if you're not doing all of that, basically you're doing business wrong. So let's debunk some of those, shall we? Because plenty of successful businesses are built in very ordinary ways. And, you know, there's something comforting about boring norm. And I do not mean you, okay? You are fabulous. You are the most incredible human around in your own unique way. But that doesn't mean that you need to be, follow all these things, right? You don't need to do all these. You can be successful just as you with basically like a simple sign-up page, a simple payment page, and an idea. As long as you've got a thing, a way for people to give you money, and and you talk about it occasionally, that's enough for a business, okay? It doesn't need any more bells and whistles than that. So let me give you this completely optional list then. The internet loves a success formula, right? And it loves a checklist. So success will get packaged as things like the perfect morning routine, or a marketing framework, or a growth strategy, or a lifestyle blueprint. But business is not a formula, and I am absolutely testament to that, right? If you listen to the previous episode, you'll know that I've walked away from a successful business model because I didn't like it. And, I'm still going 15 years later, so I'm kind of proof that none of these things matter really in the slightest. And you can't fit someone else's mold. You just can't. It doesn't work because they are different to you. Yes, there are bits you can digest and adapt, of course. But following somebody else's routine, framework, strategy, blueprint, formula, it ain't going to work for you. And that'll be why you feel tired or overwhelmed or exhausted and all of these things, right? So my job, what I do is I come and sort businesses out and basically get rid of all this stuff, ask you the challenging questions of, and how does that fit into your ecosystem? And often there's a pause and then, well, it doesn't really. It's like, great, so we don't need to do that then. Lovely, that's something off the to-do list. And I love it. That's why I love doing that. That's why I love asking the questions that other people don't, and getting to the crux of what is really going on. So, okay, you need extreme productivity habits. let's start with the obvious one here. Myth number 1, the obsession with waking up at 5 a.m. and dominating the day. I can't even say it without laughing. You know the routine, the 5 a.m. club, the ice baths, the meditation, the journaling, the green juice, the biohacking your brain. Apparently these are all the secret to success. But the reality is that most business owners are just living normal lives, to get up at a sensible time, to do your work, to talk to your clients, to solve your problems and go home again, or, leave the spare room wherever you work from again. The energy management really, really matters in what you do. And performance theatre is not the same thing as productivity, right? If you like getting up early, get up early, okay? But you don't need to get up at 5 a.m. if you don't want to. If you want to wake up at 9, wake up at 9. If you get up and you've got kids and you've got that whole, blah, blah of the mornings, you've got that. Fine. None of it matters. None of it will diminish or enhance your success at all. You get to choose. And you know what else? You don't need to tell anybody about it. You really just don't. You can just do you, and that's the end of it. It doesn't need to be a thing, right? And ice baths. There's probably some science. There is some science that it can be, plunging yourself into cold water can be positive. But you don't have to do it because it's cold, right? If you want to languish in a warm bath in the middle of the day, and that's going to help you, just do that. Just because it's become a thing, it doesn't mean that you need to partake, okay? And if you do these things as part of your routine, that is super cool, okay? I'm not diminishing them as individual things. What I'm saying is they are not the defined path to success for you because they might not suit you, okay? Meditation. It's been around for thousands and thousands of years. I find it very difficult because I don't know, unless I'm somewhere where I am forced to sit quietly in a room, like a sound bath or something. I've done one of those, 2 of those over the years. And actually, I quite liked it. And where I used to live, there used to be a Buddhist centre, and they sometimes ran classes there, and they were really good. I really like those because you got to sit in a room and just be still and be quiet. And that was great. But I don't do it every day. I can't do it on my own because I don't like it, even with all the apps. And I have a brilliant idea halfway through and then have to write it down. So, it doesn't work for me. It's not for me. So you don't have to do it. Journaling is another one. I can't get on with it at all. And I don't know when that became a thing. I think it's an American thing that has infiltrated the UK in recent years because we used to write diaries. But journaling, I don't know. Maybe I'll Google that sometime. But I think through my thoughts so quickly that I don't know. I just don't need to write them all. I don't need to write them all down. But that's okay. If you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. Green juice. I'm pretty good with my eating. I'm pretty healthy, I have to say. But I don't want to drink disgusting sludge. And biohacking my brain, I don't even know. That I don't want to end up like that guy, what's his name, Brian something, who is trying to change the aging process and live such a weird life that it's become just a complete obsession. And it's like, I don't know, yes, he's made a lot of money. He made a lot of money in tech, I think, and now he makes money from Netflix documentaries about his biohacking. But it's a bit miserable, isn't it? Let's just live our lives because we all know too many people who've died too young. And so let's just enjoy the time that we have, I think, rather than focusing on a crazy, extreme productivity habit that you might not like. And like I say, if you want to do some of those, you do some of those. You don't need to do them all, right? It feels really time-consuming and exhausting. Okay, myth number 2. You must attend every event. You must be there or miss out. So, that could be networking, it could be conferences, it could be masterminds, the go-to mastermind du jour, travelling to retreats. events can be absolutely brilliant. And I've met a lot of people at events, and I do a lot of networking. And I like that because I work at home on my own. And so I need to go out and remind myself there are other humans in the world. And things like events and conferences have been brilliant for me learning new things in my business and for meeting people and clients and all of that, particularly networking. But they're only any good if they actually energize you or genuinely help your business. And if you've moved on from something, that's okay. Like Social Media Marketing World in San Diego, I've been 8 times over the years, and incredible conference, right? But I haven't been for, I think, 3 or 4 years now, because it's no longer my world, my scene, and I don't want to or need to go to lots of talks about social media or online marketing, because it's my world. I've lived it for however long, 15 plus years, and I don't want the kind of noise and busyness of those kind of events anymore. And that's okay too. You can pick your event that you go to. And if you see lots of people online, people talking about something, you think, oh, I need to go. It's like, yeah, maybe go, but you don't have to go because it might not be for you. And I think that's fine too. And there's some quite big ones in the UK that everybody goes to, or seemingly everybody goes to. And if there's even an inkling of, oh, I can't be bothered, then it's not for you, okay? And it's okay to go once and enjoy it and not go again. And it's okay to not go at all, right? A few episodes ago, I talked about the joy of missing out versus the fear of missing out. So if you haven't listened to that, go back and do that. But absolutely bust that myth that you must be at all these things. You don't have to attend every event to prove you're serious about business or successful, right? You do what you like. Okay, myth 3, you must constantly learn more. Now, this is a tough one for someone who feels, they need to learn something every day. But I'm autistic, right? So that's my get out of jail card on this one. But to constantly learn doesn't mean you have to buy more courses, down more frameworks, learn new strategies, right? You already know more than enough about what you do. I'm damn sure of that. It's, perhaps a couple of conversations with someone who can help you with your business structure and make it feel better for you would be much more helpful. Hello, I'm one of those people. If you want to have a conversation with me about that. But the success doesn't come from being in these things, right? Or buying these things. Because if you're neurodivergent, you'll buy them and never do them anyway. So I'm still going to do that photography course I bought 3 and a bit years ago. So you don't need another course. You need clarity on what you're actually doing, right? And constantly learning more can come in lots of guises, and you can learn stuff outside of work, right? Just learn something you're interested in. I love gardening, absolutely love it, right? And I like to learn the names of the new plants that I'm putting in and how big they'll grow, and how nicely I need to talk to them to do what they need to do. That kind of learning outside of work is great. You don't have to, not everything has to be about business, right? And my business has been everything for me for so long, but it doesn't have to be. And you don't miss out or lose anything or become less successful if you get a hobby at all. So, okay, myth 4, you must live your life on social media. Oh my God, not everything is content, guys. Not everything is content. Every thought doesn't have to be content. Every moment does not have to become a post. And every experience does not have to become marketing at all. It just doesn't. You're allowed to just have stuff that's for you. You're allowed to just live your life without sharing everything. And my social media usage over the last 2 years, I've deliberately kind of stepped back from trying to, I guess a lot of it, and these days it's about chasing the algorithm, which is just sucks and is so sad. But I find Instagram, it used to be incredible, but it's just become, things have just become more challenging, and it's like, it's not a game I'm prepared to play. So I'm not, and that's fine. And does it diminish visibility? Yeah, maybe. If you're not posting as much, you're not as visible. Does it make the connections that you have more deep? Possibly, because you're more considered in what you put out there rather than just stuff because you need to post every day. It's like, ugh, no, you certainly don't need to post every day, not 4 times a day or anything like that. It's really, really important that I say to you very clearly that there are plenty of incredibly successful and happy business owners who have extremely quiet presences online. You do not have to do that. And don't forget, my background's in social media. So it always feels a bit weird saying that. And I love the online world, right? I love social media. Really, I consume a lot of it. I'm hyperactive on Threads. I adore it. So but don't follow me there because that's like just thoughts from my head. And I really find it really cathartic. It's not business stuff always. But visibility matters. Constant exposure doesn't. So you can run a perfectly successful business without documenting your entire life. And I think that's really important, right? You are not a content creator. You are a business owner. So you need to have your business and talk about it sometimes, right? It's different because there's a difference between marketing as a content creator and marketing as a business owner. That's a whole different topic that we talk about another time, but myth number 5, you need a huge audience. Oh my goodness me. The internet loves to tell you that you need a massive audience, that you need big numbers, huge follower numbers, millions of views. I think this started, to be honest, when Instagram stories came about. So when was that? 2016, maybe? 16, 17, something like that. 16 probably. And the stories, you could have links on them, but only if you had 10,000 followers. And that obviously doesn't exist now. But I think that's where this you need a big audience perpetuated from. And I mean, I've been on Instagram for 10 years and I've got like 2,500 followers. And that's fine. It doesn't matter. I stopped chasing growth like that a long time ago. And it definitely does make you happy. And of course, if you are a content creator, if you get paid because of views and the ads in the views, then what I'm saying here doesn't apply to you. But I don't believe you are a content creator. I believe you are a small business owner or a founder or a freelancer or whatever title you give yourself. And therefore, you are marketing as a business owner, not marketing as a content creator. So they're very different, right? But you can run a really successful business on surprisingly small networks. Sometimes a few hundred people is enough, particularly if you've got an email list. That's just absolutely great. Email is the best way to keep in touch with people. If you're not on my email list, then go to libbylangley.com/email and get yourself on it because I share stuff there as well. And if you like my podcast, you might like my emails. So, a few hundred people is fine. Strong relationships are good. A really clear reputation and kind of point of view and all of that. That's enough, right? Myth number 6. You must build complicated funnels. Ooh, I mean, funnels, honestly, the funnels I've built over the years, just mind-blowing. I remember going, now this is probably 17, 18 years ago. I went to a workshop. I had a brief I bought a franchise. Yeah, I'll talk about that another time. I bought a franchise once years ago on a little break from my corporate job. And I went on a training course about it. Mind blown. Insane. They used what's now called Key App. What the hell was it used to be called? Oh my God, I can't remember. Anyway, sorry. And they showed on this screen that, if somebody downloads this or somebody clicks on this, then they can get that email and then that email and that triggers that phone call and then they can get offered this and that. And I was like, what? And it was this insanely complicated web that I just thought, oh my God. And this was, 17, 18 years ago. And I've kind of never forgotten that. Even though I can't remember the name of what it was called. It doesn't matter. Stop thinking about it. It doesn't matter. And funnels are everywhere now. There's lots of talk about funnels. I've talked about funnels before. And, but apparently success is only possible if you have landing pages, email sequences, lead magnets, automated journeys, conversion optimization, and all of those things. And whilst they can be great, right, you don't need all of them, and they don't need to be complicated. As long as you have a web page that exists somewhere in some form where people can give you their email address, I wouldn't skip this step, right? And then you regularly email them. Like I say, libbylangley.com/email. That's how you get mine. That's like enough of a funnel. You don't need a lead magnet necessarily. You don't need a special whizzy hook to get people in necessarily. If what you talk about, if what you share, if your point of view is good enough, right? Which mine is. So I've got rid of all my freebies, because if you listen to this podcast, then you know what I talk about and you like it or you don't like it, right? And then you sign up for the emails or you don't, and ta-da, then maybe we'll have a conversation. It's as simple as that. And that's enough. There's a huge amount of business that still happens through conversations and referrals and relationships. Complicated funnels are not the only way to generate income. So you don't have to have them, and you don't need to use big complicated systems, right? You can do a very basic funnel, like sign up for this, get a welcome email. That might be enough, right? And you can do that through, I use Kit, formerly ConvertKit, and it's brilliant. If you want a free trial of that, by the way, go to libbylangley.com/convertkit. You can get a free 14-day trial of that, which is very cool. It's enough, right? It's enough of a platform. You don't need these big, complicated things. You don't need 37 steps in it. All right. Myth number 7, you must constantly create new offers. Oh, this is the one I've been so guilty of over the years. This one, it causes enormous chaos, right? And, we as business owners are encouraged by the internet to constantly launch new things, new programs, new products, new ideas, something changes. Oh, we can make a download about that. But most businesses would actually improve if they removed multiple offers, rather than adding more. Complexity does not increase revenue, clarity does. So if you started your business being a consultant, or going in, I'm talking to myself here, going into businesses and just sorting them out through conversations and looking at some finances and some systems and taking stuff out, that is a very good and acceptable business model. You do not need to add in and create loads of programs and do it a million different ways. You do not. So you do not have to do that. You can just be you and consistently be you forevermore. That is enough, right? And people will buy that if you're good enough and you're strong enough in your, in what you say, that they know that you're going to change their business and change their life. That's enough, right? Do not need anything else. Myth number 8: you must scale. Oh my goodness me. So, no, you mustn't. You don't have to. You don't have to grow bigger. You don't have to hire more people. You don't have to expand constantly. Not everyone wants a bigger business. Sometimes the smartest decision is building something smaller, simpler, more profitable, easier to run. And that is a very, very glorious measure of success, right? Small is beautiful, and small to you will mean different to small to me. Doesn't matter. You can have £1,000 profit a month. That might be what you need. You can have 10,000 profit a month. That might be what you need. And anything in between, or, I doubt you need 100 grand a month profit. But if you do, good for you. Let's go out for lunch. You can pay. I don't want to build a business like that. And I'm okay saying I don't want to build a business like that. I'm not interested. I haven't got the energy or the enthusiasm for it. I just want to help a few people live better lives and have better businesses. And that is enough, right? And you can't really... One can't talk about the online business myths without mentioning the move to Dubai era. Lots of people are coming back because obviously at the time of recording, there's considerable unrest, shall we call it, over in the Middle East. But for a while, it felt like every entrepreneur on the internet was kind of relocating for tax reasons and this, that, and the other. But business success, it's rarely about geography, right? It's about having a business model that works. And if you like living in your little small town in the UK, good for you, I say, because me too. That's absolutely fine. And I think the reason that these myths exist is complicated formulas are easier to sell. It's much easier to market the 12-step the 12-step blueprint for success, oh my God, I need that, the 12 steps, and I'm successful, than it is to say things like I say, your business will improve if you simplify it. It's less hooky, right? But it's more true and it has more longevity. And I think integrity is something we should absolutely be focusing in on, because there ain't enough of it out there on the internet. So when you strip everything back, businesses generate income in some very, very simple ways. So you need something valuable to sell, sensible pricing, people you've told about it, and consistent delivery. And that's it, right? And that's what I talk about in the episode a couple of episodes ago about the income problem versus the decision problem. Go back and listen to that. It's not always the income's fault. It's that you're trying to do too many things and you're spending on too many things. And simplicity does win. And no, you don't have to get up at 5 a.m. unless you want to in order to achieve that, right? Business success isn't about kind of cosplaying entrepreneurship, right? At all. It isn't. It's about building something that actually works for you and your life and you living it. This matters, right? This is you and who you are and what you want. And so that really matters. So cosplaying someone else's ridiculous idea ain't going to help you at all. It's not going to help you find what works for you. And if your business has become complicated because you've tried to follow too many rules from the internet, sometimes the smartest thing you can do is step back and just sort the whole thing out. And that is absolutely what I'm going to continue to preach. And it's what I do. So come chat with me if you think, oh my God, yeah, Libby, help me. You know where I am. I'm here for you. And I'm going to see you next time on another episode of Messy Business. Lots of love. See ya. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Messy Business. If this episode made things feel a little clearer, come and tell me. I'm over on Instagram at Libby Langley. Until next time, remember, you can change how you work without needing to change who you are.